You're in your car, either at a stop sign or coming out of a parking garage and about to pay the ticket. And somebody comes up to the window with a gun. What do you do? All right, everybody, welcome back to Garwell Defense. So we're going to take a look at three different examples of people who had issues while they were in their car, either at a stoplight or waiting to pay for their parking, and you got the arm down. Points where you're vulnerable in your vehicle. And we're going to look at ways that things might have gone. Now, again, we're not here to point out how the strong man stumbled or the doer of deeds could have done them better. Rather, we're here with humility and respect, looking at lessons learned from other people's experiences. So, with that in mind, I just want you to have a couple of thoughts as we watch these vehicles. Number one, always give yourself extra space between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you in case you have to put that gas to the floor and power your way out of a situation. Number two, situational awareness. Number three, you keep the doors locked. But let's take a look at some of these. We've got three different examples here. We'll take a look at and see what you think. Look again with humility and respect at an incident that happened somewhere in Latin America. And we're going to see a motorcycle coming up from behind a car. You see it there. Now we can see that there's two guys on a motorcycle. The guy in the back was pointing a handgun at the white car. The white car stops. The motorcycle stops, and the second passenger gets off, and here he is running up to the white car. Now, this is a perfect opportunity to take your 3 or 4 ton battering ram, i.e. your car, put the gas all the way down and blast through the threat using your battering ram. Now, something like that, it does not come easily. We are all taught to avoid hitting things all of our driving lives, and so using your vehicle as a weapon in a moment of necessity doesn't come easily unless you give it forethought and play out these scenarios in your mind so that in a time of need you have something that you can revert to. So we see this guy comes up right up to the passenger window. It's hard to see what's going on inside the car. It looks like the driver has their hands up, but it seems that there's a second person in the car and they're armed. And we see the bad guy go down. His buddy's like, I'm getting out of Dodge. And so that's a happy ending here for the white car. Now, again, the lesson learned here is you can use your vehicle as a weapon when the situation calls for it. But you got to give it some forethought. You got to be willing to use it to run down somebody or to blast through another car. And the trick is to put the gas pedal all the way down and don't stop after you've hit whatever it is you're hitting through. So if you hit another vehicle, our natural reaction is to let go of the gas. Don't do that. Just blast all the way through. You aim towards the wheel of the target vehicle if it's a vehicle, or go for the person here. Here I think he could have gotten the second bad guy and gone for that motorcycle too. But in any event, it worked out well from him. The other lesson learned here is concealed carry. And that brings a whole host of other obligations and responsibilities. But it's clearly something that worked out well for this white car tonight. All right. So this one comes out of South Africa. We've got some good lessons learned here. So we can see this is the victim's car here. Comes up by the gate. This car is going to have some guys who are going to get out and rob this car. So far so good. Now, the attackers come up to the car. Okay, they were a little bit they were kind of in his blind spot, so I think the victim can be forgiven for not seeing them, but, who's to say that a little more situational awareness might have changed this. It looks like the ticket is on the what would be our passenger side. So he should have been looking that direction anyway. But in any case, So now you got these two guys, and they come running up, and you can see them banging on the windows. Now, this is a great example of the psychological barrier a driver has, because all our driving lives we are taught not to hit things. But you can see that the arm that's blocking the victim in is not a very big one at all, and he could have put the pedal to the floor and smashed through that gate easily. But he didn't. You know, it's a natural reaction. If you don't think of it beforehand, you're not likely to do it when you need it. Now, we see the attacker's car come up and box him in. Really, that car is set in a perfect position that if the victim were to put that car into reverse, he would hit the wheel of the blocking car, which is the perfect place to hit it on the axle. That'll move the car, as opposed to hitting it like in the door where you might get stuck in the wreckage. But, okay, that didn't happen either, but that's a lesson learned. If you know how to do it, and if you think about it ahead of time. Once the door is open, nothing good can happen. So these guys are going to have their way. Essentially, I think this is an airport, and they're just going to take all the luggage and transfer it. You can see the victim's taken out of the car. He's on the ground there. They're just going to take the luggage, put it in the car that's blocking it. And they're gone. The victim, thankfully, was not injured. Nothing he can't replace. All right. So, again, this goes back to the idea of forethought. Ideally, if you can get training in how to smash through a car at a place like Bruce Scott Raceways, if they still offer that kind of training, for example, fantastic. Go for it. But understand that you do have at your disposal a 3-4 ton battering ram. He could have easily gone through that front gate. He could have backed it up into the car. Obviously, once you open the doors, nothing good's going to happen to that. This guy's lucky at the end of the day. He still has his life, but you never know. Okay, so here we're going to see another robbery attempt. Now, the victim's going to be in this white pickup here, and we're going to see in a moment 3 guys come up and attempt to rob him. Now, one thing I want to point out right from the get-go is no matter where I drive in the world, whether it's my beautiful hometown or somewhere overseas, I always give myself at least a car length of space between me and the car in front of me, just in case, in the unlikely event I ever need to blast my way out of a situation, I will have enough room to gain momentum should I have to put the pedal all the way to the floor. So obviously, the average person doesn't walk around thinking that way, but I encourage you to start thinking that way. Give yourself at least a car length. Okay, so as we'll see here in a moment, the robbers are going to come trotting up to the vehicle. Here they come. Now, I think our guy can be excused for the situational awareness aspect. He wouldn't be able to see that until literally like a split second before they're tapping on the window. Now we see the traffic starting to move. And right there is a perfect opportunity with the guy going across the front of his car to put the gas to the floor. Now, we don't know what's transpiring on the other side, but our victim here has another option. And that is he's armed. And he shoots one of them. And now that ends that. So, like I mentioned before, if you're going to conceal carry, that will bring with it a whole host of other obligations. But in this case, it clearly worked out for this intended victim. All right, so I think we got some good lessons learned here. Number 1, lock your car doors. When you get into your car, the very first thing you should do before you start messing around with the radio or your bags or whatever, lock the car doors, and then you can start doing the other stuff. Give space between your car and the car in front of you, just in case you ever need to get out of a situation. Mentally work through what your actions would be. If you can see it in your mind's eye, you're more likely to revert to that in a moment of truth than if you've never thought about it at all. Be alert. Your sense of awareness should heighten somewhat when you come to a stop somewhere. And that could be coming out of the parking garage. That could be at a stoplight. Understand the environment that you're driving in. So, I hope that helps. Thank you.